So, hi everybody and welcome back. This is a C++ tutorial series for absolute beginners. This is video 110 and we continue with our exercise. And in our last video, we created this password generator. This one here, generate password. And in this video, we want to continue with this generate password because we hard-coded two values here and we need to increase the string length, because right now when I start it, we just check here, you will see, and when I see it, perhaps we see nothing. Here I have to enter again my account, and then you see we check just the single letters, so also strings with length 1, and we have to change this length now. And there is also already a solution which I'm using from the web, and there is just another function which is void crack. We can take this one, we copy this one here, and I am using this one on top because interesting is this crack will call this one here, so that's why I'm using it here on top. Let's write here, uncomment this one here, and yeah, we have to do something here. So first of all, we can see this while true there was in the original one is a 1. Let me explain this one again. That was the original number here, and this 1 here is special because it is a number, but in C++ this 1 is also a true, right? We have talked about this behind the scene conversion, right? So if it's 1, it is true, or any other number, I think, and if it's 0, it is false. So you can write here 0 for false and 1 or any other number, I think, for true. And to make it sure, just write true. So don't think about much. So instead of using these numbers, just write true. Then we know it is clear. This one is true, which means this one is a while loop which will not terminate. And this is normally bad. Why it's bad? Because you want stop any, there should be a stop, right? We want a stop, but we will set up this stop perhaps in a different way, because we know if something is defined with true, which is infinitive loop, we still can stop it, right? You know the word break, for example, or return, something like that will break this line. And let's see what we have here. Keep growing till I get, that was a comment probably. And this one is then set. So what is using the static? We have not talked about this one. I'm not sure if we use this one here. We can test it without at start and then later with this one, which means I just comment this line out and say we don't use static. We don't use unsigned int, because unsigned int means just positive numbers. And this one is just a start variable, which means I don't have to write here really as unsigned int, only to make it sure that this one can't never be 0, but actually that's not so important at this point. But keep it if you think it's important. I don't keep it because I think that's okay. Later it will grow or go down, depends on your setting. And then we have here this generate. This generate is actually our generate password call. So this one, I just copy this one here, my generate password, and replace this one here with that one. And you can see here we have now this hard-coded value, and we change this a little bit. Now we have a string length. I make here, so I change here a little bit the naming. I call the string length with capital letters at start. This is my convention how I use this one. And what's that? String length, yeah, that's okay. And then I use now the string length here, what we have here, because now I don't need this hard-coded values here, right? This one is my string length, And why I'm using now a variable, because probably I won't change this, and the next line is showing, yes, indeed, I'm going to change this. And we learned also this plus plus, this is a shortcut for what? Do you remember? Yes, I hope you remember this. This is string length equals string length plus 1. So this is the shortcut. This plus plus it's the same like this one, but important is if this is on in front or back. But this one you should read, because we are can't repeat all, but I hope you know what this means, right? So let's continue. We have here the string length, we call it, and this one is still hard-coded, the start point, but it does matter. And the reason why this does matter is we are not using this here anyhow to change it, which means I use not this here. For example, the string length here I'm using here in my next line. So this one will be changed, and this change will affect later this one. But this one will never called again. This will be called only one time at start, and that's why you can make here a hard-coded value. It's okay. All right, that one we covered. And now what I want to do is see if there is any problems. I think not. So this crack, okay, let's change the crack name. Crack sounds like a real hacker. We are not real hackers. We are just learning hacking. Not really. We are not learning hacking. We are learning coding. But we get aware of hacks. That's important. That's why I use this hack example, because if you get aware of hacks, you will have to be aware also of security in your program later. And I talk about this one later after we finish this exercise, what I mean with security and so on. Let's continue. And so I call this not crack, I call this brute force. Brute force part, and anything like brute force. Is this brute force actually generate passwords? Here I generate the passwords. It is not a brute force here. It's still generating passwords here. That's not really good. Generate password. Generate passwords. I have this one here, so I can't use. I should not use this one here again. So generate password. Let's say generate password appended. And that now I use this appended word, because here we generate passwords with different length and extended, or let's call this extended, not appended, extended, because here we generate a password here with this one, and here we extend this one here with our string length, all the other combinations. So you can use anything what you like here, but I use this one here and continue and don't waste too much time. And with that said, this one is finished. Now we make fast a forward declaration again, like all time. I take this, copy this, go to my forward declarations. Now I can call this where I want. And here I can't call this one here again. Why? Because this one is called here. And that means I don't need to call it here again. So then it means I go rid of this one and I just call this one. I copy this one, get in this one, paste this, and now I hope it works. And if it's not working, then we have to figure out why. So let's see. I start. Any errors? At least so far not. Go there. AA. And yes, I find my first error here. It is not extending the variables like I thought it would. So let's check this out, why this one is not extending fast. So we are going here to this one, and then it calls this one. Let's see. While it's here, while it's true, then this one will be all time true, which means in string length is 1. It goes here in, and then it calls, and then it calls this one. And what we expect is actually that this one here should return, right? And when it should return is actually, I show you this, when this one is 0, right? And let's see what happens here. The problem is here, this string length is never coming. So I have a problem here anywhere, because the string length is never increasing anyhow. And why is this not increasing? And we have to check this. So let's see, to make it fast, let's see if we can use the static. Perhaps the static was really useful here. Perhaps this one was the mistake, and this unsigned we still don't need. And okay, need also here the string length, string length. All right, let's see if this was the cause, and if this was the cause, then that's bad. Oh yes, it works now. So now I have a problem. This is now a problem because I have not talked about static, but you see there is a problem. But let's try to understand this without the static, and let's see if we can figure this out. And problems like this one occurs. Let's see what happens here. So let's see if our expectation can come true or not. So what we was normally expecting is, I call this one, I have this one is all time true, I have string length 1, then this password is generated, then here it is not coming to this point again, right? Anyhow, this one is not really coming, so we will see why. Then I say, okay, string length, I start with 1, I go in, and I go here. 1 is not 0, so this one will be skipped. I go in, and then it goes here, generated password. Password here is then, it will generate it, whatever this is. And after this one, it will go here, generated password, which is string -1, and then okay, it's to 0. And generated password is then the next thing. It will go to B. So what is the problem here? What is the problem here? Can you see this? It's a little bit difficult, and probably it's not visible, but what we can do is actually just run, let's see if I can show you that. Just run here, this generated here. I go here. I try to make it fast. Loader, AA. And now let's see what happened. I'm here at this generated password. So we have already all the other things here. We can show this here and debug here on the bottom. We can see generated password string. This one here is A. That is expected, like I wanted. Perfect. And then it will call itself again, right? So let's do this. I go here on top. And the string length is still 1. That's also very important. And let's go. And here, it jumps here. It jumps here. And it generates my B. Okay, now I have to make this a little bit fast till I go to the last letter, which is Z. Now let's see. And the reason why I want to go Z is because there we see what happens with the last thing. MNOPQRST. Oh no, U V and W. And not that I misclick here. That's why I make it not too fast. And now I am almost finished. So this one is the last Z. Now I come here to Z. That's important. Let's see. So you see I have almost all alphabets here with this forward, and you can really step here and check all steps here. And now what happens is, now let's see what happens. I go here and it says password string is Z. It's expected, yes. And then password string is nothing, yes. And string length is 1, yes, like all time. And here I go one more step. And here I have my set. I have my set. And the problem is, what comes next? Set 1, 25. 25 is our last. Because as long as this one is less than 26, because now I is 25, and this one should go out. This is what it should, right? So what happens is I go next, it goes on top. It says here I is 25. And let's see. And it goes indeed out. That's good. You can see it jumps out. And after this one, it jumps also here to string length is 1 here. And let's see what happens here. And I continue a little bit. So it jumps then here to this point, so to my loop, like I wanted, right? That was all fine, so. And the problem is what? It starts here again, and this, it jumps here back to this generated word, actually, but let's see. Wait. Why it is not continuing here? And when I make here, it is doing continuing that. Now it's interesting. String length, and I make a plus. And when I make here, so you can see here we are here. Let's go here on top. I start again, and the problem is here it incremented here the string length, but at the same time it sets back to 1. All right, so we found our problem here. I think it sets back to 1, and then we go here down and start from 0 again, start from length 1 again, and now it makes sense why this one is not working. All right, and with static, we have not talked about this. Let's stop this. We can change this a little bit, but we can change this without static as well. Or perhaps not. Perhaps not. We have to see. So our thought is now here, can we change this one without static? Static is, we will talk about static in another video. It just makes this accessible in the scope from everywhere. So which means when you are increasing this one here, this one will increase here too. This means that's the static keyword, because and static has many different ways, different definitions in different places. That's why we are not talking much about static right now. But in this case, it means if you are changing here the string length, it will change it here on top as well. And that's why it's working with static and here not. And because to find now another solution will take too much time, let's just use this one, static. But I think perhaps if you are creative, you can still find perhaps another way. So your job is just to create a way to increase this string length without using this new definitions again. And that's probably possible. Perhaps it's possible. Perhaps not. It's possible with, I'm not sure about this one, but if you try this one, you can try something like that. You can say, okay, the string length is here used, but I don't want to define it here on top, which means this one, this plus plus here must directly connect it to this one. And yeah, that's a little bit hard without static, but it's possible probably anyhow. For example, let me think how we can make this without static. If I find not a solution, so it's on the fly here, I continue. So for example, you can, let's see, we can say string length, call it here. Yeah. Perhaps with another variable, call it, and then string length, which is here in the scope. That's a little bit problematic. So, okay, I think we just use static. All right, I wasted your time. I found it not on the fly. I use static here because it's it's easier. Because we are trying to manipulate a variable, like you can see, which is declared here on top again. Yeah. Or we make it very easy. Actually, perhaps I found a very easy way. We can just say this one is global. Yeah, we make it just global. Why? Actually. And then we say the string length, if this is set on global, it's then used. Yeah, we make it global. Actually, a very easy solution. I don't know why I have here so a brain which is not working. But let's see. We make just the string length global, right? Let's do this. Oh my god. Sometimes when it's not my code, then it's not working, right? Instead of static, we make just this variable global, and now I assign it here to 1, but this is a global variable, right? It's similar to this one, which means I don't define this one here in this while loop. Let's get rid of this here and here, which means I'm not going to define this one here because it's now globally defined, which means if I increase this one here, it will increase here on top. And it was so a simple solution, and I could not find it on the fly. Very nice. No way. I hope it works not, because then I can say I was right not find it. That is a joke. Sorry. And let's see what happens. And do we have... Please don't work. Please don't work. It works. Okay. That was a very simple solution actually, and yeah. So you could make this one without the word static. And I hope you was better than me and realized this faster than me. That we can make it just global and use it here on top without defining this one. But we have created our generator password extended, right? So here we are creating the one thing, and then we are increasing here our string length and generating all the other possibilities which we wanted to do here. So with that said, we have finished actually with this line. But before I stop here, I show you the next problem. The next problem is because we want the next line would say use password to crack login. But right now what happens is the login comes on in front. And then I write here, and now I wanted, my goal is that this one is called automatically, and the password which is generated should be passed here automatically and tested out. That's on the next video. And yeah, I hope you made a better code than me and find a better solution than me, because yeah, that's the real goal here, to make mistakes, to learn from these mistakes. And very important, when you learn from the mistakes, you are also repeating all these things what we did here. We repeat functions. Till now we use very simple functions, if you realize that. But what's very important here is we use this function with different structures, for example, with a while loop, and the while loop is calling another function. And you see we have to learn to track this little bit functions, right? And then this main is calling this function, and this function is calling, yes, this function, and this function is calling this function. Yeah, we need to learn tracking a little bit. But yeah, I hope you made a better code than me. Then you learned more than me, and you are better than me, and that's good, because that's why this video is about. All right, with that said, if you have any complaints and any questions like all time, write it in the comments, and good luck, and see you in the next. Bye.